Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Review for December 13th, 2019. Politico reports, Biden signals to aides that he would serve only a single term. Advisors weigh the merits of a one-term pledge by the 77-year-old former vice president. Former Vice President Joe Biden's top advisors and prominent Democrats outside the Biden campaign have recently revived a long-running debate whether Biden should publicly pledge to serve only one term, with Biden himself signaling to aides that he would serve only a single term. While the option of making a public pledge remains available, Biden has for now settled on an alternative strategy, quietly indicating that he will almost certainly not run for a second term, while declining to make a promise that he and advisors fear could turn him into a lame duck and sap him of his political capital. According to 4 sources who regularly talk to Biden, all of whom asked for anonymity to discuss internal campaign matters, it is virtually inconceivable that he will run for re-election in 2024, when he would be the first octogenarian president. Several advisors downplay the idea of a formal pledge. Others emphasize that there were better ways to address concerns about Biden's age, such as using his age as a proxy for experience. Biden recently challenged a voter to an IQ test or push-up competition. But the issue remains a topic of debate inside and outside of the campaign, and several advisors now quietly acknowledge that while Biden won't run for re-election, he cannot say so publicly. An article from The Hill states, key House and Senate health leaders reach deal to stop surprise medical bills. Key House and Senate healthcare leaders in both parties reached a deal on legislation to protect patients from surprise medical bills. The deal between House Energy and Commerce Committee Chairman Frank Pallone Jr., Representative Greg Walden, the top Republican on that panel, and Senate Health Committee Chairman Lamar Alexander is a step forward for the effort, which is seen as a rare area of possible bipartisan action this year. President Trump has also called for action on the issue. The legislation would protect patients from getting hit with massive bills when they go to the emergency room and one of the doctors caring for them happens to be outside of their insurance network. The deal also includes other health care measures, such as an extension of funding for community health centers, raising the purchasing age for tobacco to 21, and drug pricing transparency measures. Backers of the deal are hoping to include it in a must-pass government funding deal that faces a December 20th deadline. There are still obstacles, though, as congressional leadership has not yet signed on to the deal. There are also still disagreements over the details of the surprise medical billing legislation, with doctors and hospitals lobbying hard on the issue and worried about cuts to their payments. And finally, Fox News reports, Elizabeth Warren's wealth tax math doesn't add up, nonpartisan analysis says. A nonpartisan academic study concludes that Democratic presidential candidate Senator Elizabeth Warren's proposed wealth tax on the richest Americans would bring in at least $1 trillion less than the populist lawmaker from Massachusetts estimates. Warren's signature wealth tax, which she says would help pay for progressive plans including universal child care, free tuition at public universities and colleges, and her government-run Medicare for All healthcare system, would place a 2% tax on those worth $50 million or more and a 6% tax on those worth more than $1 billion. The analysis also concludes that the new taxes would cause the economy to contract between 0.9% and 2.1% by the year 2050, depending on how the new revenue is spent. The model says the new tax would reduce private capital formation enough to drive the U.S. economy's average wage down between 0.9% and 2.3%, even affecting households not rich enough to qualify for the tax. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Review for December 13th, 2019. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.